Check out that background. Right? That's slick, huh? Shalom, everybody. In the body. How y'all doing? How we looking? Hopefully this thing works better today. It was tripping yesterday. Didn't want to let us get one in yesterday. Right? Something's going on with my connection. Connection going bad. Good to see everybody. Pray y'all blessed out there. Looking through some comments from yesterday. Checking them out. Let's read this. Somebody from yesterday says, I need to know what's going on. This makes me want to give up. That can't be no option. Giving up can't be no option. But let's just read. Let's just read them all the way through first. I love the elders and I love Brother Bronze. I hate this. Excuse my language, but I'm pissed off. But this is effed up. This division in my church makes me want to say, forget everything, my baptism, everything. I just lost my 18-year-old daughter, and now this. I don't know if I can take another surprise right now, especially after all this. Right? And I do apologize, right? And I'm apologizing, and I had no control, right? And that's how it is, y'all, right? Good-hearted people, we suffer. That's what we gonna do, right? The good-hearted people, we suffer, right? The cold-hearted people, if you're looking at it like that, they seem to always have their way, right? They look like they ain't doing no suffering. They look like they loving life, right? Just going around and hurting everybody's feelings, right? And causing all of this chaos, right? Because I try to avoid all of this, right? I try to avoid all problems, right? I jumped in front of everything. I had plenty of time, right? I had plenty of time. I had my incident, my experience. I came back. I sat on that for 2 more years. I took my time. And then when I was ready, I left the church, right? I left. I announced I was no longer with them and I was getting ready to get to all of this, right? And I did that, you know. I tried to get in front of everything, man. And if people didn't deliberately want to cause all the confusion that was caused and all of the, you know, uh, the chaos, then I led the way for that to be a peaceful situation, right? And the experience, right? You know, but nah. Somebody else was like, nah. Mm-mm. And they wanted all of that friction and, and as you can see, I ain't said nothing. I ain't took no jab, right? Now, you want to see some jabbing? You want to see some friction and some fighting back and forth? Listen to these other videos, right? They're saying all of the things that I can't say, right? All of the things that I would be saying if I was trying to fight, it would sound a lot like what we hear on these other people's videos, right? I keep running into them left and right. I don't know about y'all, right? I don't know about y'all, but me, man, it's video after video, live after live, post after post, right? And it was coming in the vein of the elder first, right? And they was getting their steam off their chest and whatnot, But now it's all of the people who are answering that, right? And the lie don't last long, right? The lie fizzles out, you know. Check this phone real quick. The lie fizzles out. It don't last, you know. But when the righteous come forward, the truth lasts, right? Once it prevails, you stuck with it, right? You stuck with that. But this is how it had to happen, y'all. You know, I do apologize, for the person that's hurt. I'm apologizing, and I couldn't even control what was happening. We can only control our own actions, y'all. Right? Can't control nobody else but ourselves. A lot of us can't even control ourselves, but your faith can't be in none of that, man. Your faith can't be in men, you know, your faith can't be in circumstances because the devil can control that stuff. So if your faith depends on if one more thing happened to me, then blah, blah, then guess what? The devil is going to hit the button on that one last straw that's going to break the camel's back, right? Because he has control of certain things, to an extent, he can control your surroundings, if something has been compromised, you know, and if something has been given over to his subjection. So, nah, our faith can't lean on that. And I'm going to tell you right now, you're going to see some ugly stuff in this earth, right? Before this kingdom come, right? It's gonna get horrible, y'all. You This ain't nothing. If you can't handle this, you might as well give up right now, because it's gonna get bad, right? It's gonna get really bad. And through it all, we can't sin, right? Through it all, we still gonna have to keep these commandments. Through it all, we still gonna have to practice this gospel, right? And bring forth this love and live in this love, right? And think and feel in this love, right? Matthew 24:13, right? What we broke down, enduring to the end. How do we endure to the end? What is it judging? When you get to the end, what must you have in tax, right? What must not have waxed cold in the end? Your love, right? Your love. Let's read this. I need to know what's going on. This makes me want to give up. I love the elders and I love Brother Bronze. I hate this. Excuse my language. I'm pissed off, but this is effed up. This division in my church makes me want to say, forget everything. My baptism, everything. I just lost my 18-year-old daughter, and now this. Sorry about that. Right? Condolences. I'm in that with you. I feel that with you, right? To lose an 18-year-old daughter. That's a tough one, I don't know if I can take another surprise right now. And I'm gonna tell you, the devil hears that, right? Especially after all this, right? Another surprise. The devil hear that and he like, guess what I got, buddy? I got another surprise, right? So, man, I feel for you, and I feel so strong for you, you know. And if I had any control, man, uh, Elder would have cut on that camera and said good things about me, because all of it was made up. And you will find that out one day. You're going to find out that not one word of what he said was the truth at all, right? That's just how, I don't know. I don't know why he took it upon himself to do what he did and to say the words that he said. I'm not sure, All I can do is speculate. I got a few ideas of what'll drive him to, do what he did, say what he said and whatnot. But hey, if it was up to me, he would have said good things. I said good things about him in the beginning. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, what can we do? It's not my fault. It's not your fault, right? So who's left? Con? So we're gonna be all right. I'm gonna talk about that too one of these days. How there's nothing to worry about, y'all. Everything's gonna be all right. It's gonna be some rough sights in between, but in the end, everything is gonna be all right. You know. I hope we are able to get through this today, because my connection was bad yesterday. And it didn't want to let us uh, finish a little segment, a little hangout segment the way we do. I don't know what was going on yesterday. That connection, it just would not hold. But we're gonna try it again today. Happy prep, everybody. Make sure you got it before he drop it. You know what I'm saying? Sundown. You know, remember the Sabbath and keep it holy, right? Remember to go get the things that you're gonna need, right? To carry out a Sabbath, right? And I don't know why you would even do that if you plan on getting up first thing in the morning Saturday and then leaving, and then not getting home until after dark. I don't even know why you would even have to remember a Sabbath, right? So, you know, around here, we prep for the Sabbath day and we spend the Sabbath day how the Sabbath day is supposed to be spent, and that's resting, right? We're going in, we're closing, we're shutting our gates Friday evening, and they ain't opening until Saturday sundown, right? And afterwards, right? Because we want to be blessed, right? And we want to be closer to the Most High. Sin separated us from the Most High, right? So the more sin we knock down, the closer we just get into the Most High, right? So if you know something is a sin, you might want to stop doing that thing, especially if it's something that you really ain't got to have, right? The less sin, the better, right? Yes, we have grace, all of that, blah, blah, you know? But we don't want to lean on that if we don't have to, right? We want to do the right thing and please our Father, you know? And that's how I've been. If you've been watching me over the years and you feel like I'm some type of spiritual person or something like this, and you feel you feel the Most High resonating strong from me, it's because I don't waste grace. Okay, all I gotta do is know that my Father don't like it, and I'm gonna try my best not to do that thing, right? And I'm successful. You know, it's a lot of things I really don't need. You know, and that's how I've been closer to Him, and that's how I'm able to speak, and you feel it, right? I ain't doing nothing special, right? We could all do this, right? You know what your knacks are. You know what your strength in Him is, right? And that's because of the sin that you have sacrificed in your life, right? All praises to His holy name, But yeah, let's get into Proverbs 17 and 7, because this is about being a friend. Of course, we are all brothers and sisters, right? And that takes away. That takes a lot away, because what does it take to be a brother and a sister? Nothing. You just got to share parents, which we all do, right? Jacob is all of our father, right? And you either come out of Leah or Rachel, or you know what I'm saying? Ilward, you know, he had all of the 12 tribes with 4 women. You know what I'm saying? One of those are your mother, but you have one father, right? Jacob. So we are all brothers and sisters. Okay, so shoot, that's all you got to do is share parents. But your friends, you choose, right? No work goes in to having a brother or a sister. You're born that way. But with a friend, you scan the earth. You go out and find a friend, right? And it's billions of people, right? But the person that winds up your friend, that's very special, right? And that's what we got to be, y'all. That is the way of the sapphire, right? Of the electric blue, right? To be a friend. So let's check that out. A friend loveth at all times, and a brother is born for adversity, right? The more somebody knows you, right? The more real it is, right? They don't see your angelic side, right? They don't see your aura. They don't see none of that, right? They don't see that. There's a precept. Grab that, right? Mark 16:4. But Yasha said unto them, a prophet is not without honor, but in his own country and among his own kin and in his own house, in his own house, right? Write these down. We got Proverbs 17:17, and we got Mark 6:4 so far, right? Uh, you hate it at home, man. You hate it where they know you. Things like this, they're not shocked at anything special you do. They've always known that. They watched you grow up, right? It's rough at home, right? It's rough, but that's part of being a brother and a sister, right? There's nothing special in that. It's blessed when a brother and sister can be a friend, you know, but that ain't always the way it goes, you know. But we gotta be friends, y'all. We can all say that we're brothers and sisters. We can't all say that we're friends, right? But what the Most High sent me to put in this earth, be a friend, right? That's of the way of the love, right? Be a friend. There's a lot of things that a friend won't do, right? Check something out. All right. Go in this little red book. Into the Apocrypha one time. Hmm. Just reading through the Apocrypha. Right? Okay. We find that in Ecclesiasticus chapter 6 is where it talks about friends, and we want to examine this, right? Ecclesiasticus 6:5. Sweet language will multiply friends, right? And a fair speaking tongue will increase kind greetings, right? So that's the beginning, right? And we find out a lot of talk, right? That's the beginning of it. right? We all can do that, right? You could greet each other, nicely, goodly words like Nephtali. You know what I'm saying? That's easy. We can all do that, right? And that's how you initiate it. That's where it starts at, is with the speech, right? Good words, right? That's the beginning, right? But it gets much deeper than that, right? We got to prove those words. So let's get into it, right? Uh Hold up real quick. Real quick. Ecclesiasticus chapter 6. That was verse 5. Right? Let's go 6. Be in peace with many, right? Be in peace, right? Nah, be in chaos, right? Be in war. Be in peace with many. Nevertheless, have but one counselor of 1,000, right? So out of 1,000 counselors, choose you one, right? Why? Because they're going to differ, right? And they all don't have what you want, right? They all don't carry the personas that you would like to carry and things like this. You can't trust them with a lot of things. You can't trust everybody, you know, to be a counselor of yours, right? Depending on what you want. It's a lot of people out there that can show you a lot of things, right? Have one counselor of 1,000, right? Don't have no whole bunch of people teaching you, right? Verse 7. If thou wouldest get a friend, prove him first, and be not hasty to credit him, right? If thou would get a friend, so you're alone, right? And if you would get a friend, if you would get a friend, right? If you don't want to be alone, prove him first, right? If you don't want to be alone and you want to get a friend, you better know who you got sitting next to you, right? Prove a friend, right? Now, if they ain't a friend, you ain't got to prove them, right? If you don't, if I mean, what do you do with a friend? You trust them, you trust a friend, right? A friend, they can hurt you if they want to, because you have given them the tools in their hands to tear you apart, right? If it came down to that. So you got to trust a friend, right? They can hurt you. So you got to prove them, right? Prove him first and be not hasty to credit him, right? He ain't proved nothing to you, and you running around and you telling everybody, yeah, that's my boy right there. He do blah blah. He that. You know what I'm saying? And then he make a fool out of you, right? And then other people, because they trust you, they trust him because you vouched for him, right? See what I'm saying? So, you know, and be not hasty to credit him, right? Don't give him credit for a friendship that he ain't earned yet, right? And that's if you want to be careful about all of this, right? Real love is not fear. This here that we talking about, this is fear, family, right? You scared, right? That's what this is, all of this. If you would get a friend, if you're going to be hanging around people, right? That's what that means. If you would get a friend, if you're going to have friends and all that, This, it sounds like fear to me. Prove him first. You better be doing this, and you better, if you want a friend, you better be like, you know what I mean? That's teaching fear right there. And love don't feel all of that, right? So we have this here, and we gonna break this down, but it's a shortcut through all of this, and we're gonna get into that, right? All right. So verse 8, for some man is a friend for his own occasion, right? And this is true. People will come around and they will act like friends, but they really got their eye on something that you possess, right? Or it's a reason why they want to be your friend, right? Maybe you have something that they're trying to get close to, right? Or maybe they just trying to get over a certain hump in their life or something, and they trying to just use you like a stepping stone or something, or maybe you got a connection that they want or something like that. It's a reason why they're messing with you. That's what that means. For a man is a friend for his own occasion, right? So, you can do things for them, right? So they coming around, they want to be a part of that. You know what I'm saying? They want to have something to do with that. And they trying to get up close to you, right? So they can have access at whatever it is that they feel like you are worth, right? Right? And then it says, and will not abide in the day of trouble. What is abide is to live, right? Or to listen, right? And to participate, right? And to cooperate and all of that. To abide is to, you know what I'm saying? Strong word right there. That means you guys are connected. You guys seeing eye to eye, right? But they're only doing that, you know, uh, while things are good, right? For their own occasion. But they ain't gonna do it in the day of trouble, right? Man, I had so many friends, y'all, that turned their back on me as soon as the elder opened his mouth, y'all, right? And knew what he was saying wasn't true, right? They didn't abide in the day of trouble, right? Nah, they're not gonna be there when it's time, to lift you up and to hold you up, right? Those are things that friends do, right? Not somebody that's just using you, right, for their own occasion. They're not gonna be by your side when it's time for times to be rough, right? Chapter 9, and there is a friend who being turned to enmity and strife will discover thy reproach, right? Will discover, right? That's deep. 9, and there is a friend who being turned to enmity, right? So he was a friend at first, and then y'all got into it. You turned on each other, right? And strife. Y'all turned on each other and start fighting, right? Will discover thy reproach. So, your reproach is all of your wrongs, all of your flaws, all of the things that somebody could point the finger at you about. That's your reproach, right? So he discovered that, right? It was covered and then he discovered it, right? So he found it and he exposed it, right? So now everybody knows, you know, where you less than perfect now. He's exposing your flaws to the world, right? That's what he's doing. And that's what enemies do, right? Everybody thinks you're friends and you're close and you're this and you're that. And then when they see you doing that, you know, yeah, He has discovered your reproach, right? 10. Again, some friend is a companion at the table, right? Where the food is at, where the benefit is at, right? He's a friend when y'all sitting at the table and y'all breaking bread. Yeah, man, pass me them peas, man. And one blah blah. You know, y'all eating and y'all crunching. You know what I'm saying? And you're having a great time at the table, right? But and he will not continue in the day of thy affliction, right? So he was eating with you, you know, but when the trouble came, he got away from you. Nah, he don't want no part of that, right? I'm out of here. The turkey gone? Okay, I holler. Oh, you got this problem. You got that problem. Oh, I got to go do this, you know. I got to go do that. I got to go pick such and such up. I got to, you know what I mean? I got a doctor's appointment. You know what I'm saying? However, they can, you know, get out of suffering that affliction with you. They're not doing that, right? 11, but in thy prosperity, he will be as thyself. Oh, he's just like you, right? He's trying to show you everything that y'all got in common. Oh, yeah, is that right? Yeah, me too. You know, he's Mr. Me Too, right? He wants you to see how much you guys are just alike. Huh? Verse is that? It's 11, right? And will be bold over thy servants, right? So who is thou to judge another man's servant? He will be bold over your servants, right? He wants to be seen as you, right? He wants to share your throne with you. He all over your servants and becking them around, and you know what I'm saying? Yeah, that's a fake friend. That's not a friend, right? If thou be brought low, he will be against thee, right? And will hide himself from thy face, right? Verse 12, right? If you be brought low, right? So your former state, you know, you have been humbled from that, right? And now he against you, right? Nothing happened between you and him. You just got brought low, right? And I saw a lot of that too, you know, because when I got out the way and things like that, I stopped making so much noise, you know, and I was just kind of like, you know, a regular I was just a ride, you know what I'm saying? I wasn't Brother Bronze for a while, and I seen a lot of people come against me, you know, nothing happened, you know, I just wasn't who I was, you know, I took a back seat. I shut my mouth and I took a back seat. You know what I'm saying? It was a day that came and I told everybody, listen, I don't gotta be talking. And I went to the back, right? And I shut up, right? So I moved myself down to a lower estate at that point, right? And I seen a lot of people just based on that, they turned on me, right? They was just waiting for that moment, right? They be waiting for that moment, right? Verse 12, but thou be brought low. He will be against thee. He's against you. Why? Because you been brought low. Because you did something to him? Nah, you was just brought low, right? And will hide himself from thy face, right? So that means you won't be able to talk to him, right? He won't look you in the eye, right? He's hiding, right? He will hide his face from your face, right? He will hide himself from thy face. What that mean? What is he hiding from? From your face, right? So you can't get an eye to eye with him, He don't even want to deal. He like this, you know what I'm saying? He won't even look at you, right? He don't want to hear nothing you got to say. If you are brought low, he will be against thee and will hide himself from thy face, right? Separate thyself from such, separate thyself from thine enemy, right? And take heed to your friends, right? The ones who you know they don't like you, they would take you down if they had the chance. Stay, stay away from them, right? And your friends, if you think they're a friend, right? And take heed to thy friends. You better watch your friends. That's what that means, right? 14. A faithful friend is a strong defense, right? So you can get with a faithful friend and y'all can be, strong together, right? Y'all like, he's a defense. He's going to protect you, right? You got two soldiers of an army. When you have a faithful friend, you know, he ain't no traitor. He ain't going to turn on you, right? A faithful friend is a strong defense, and he that has found such a one has found a treasure. He's a treasure, right? He's valuable, right? And you got to find him, right? So how many friends you going to go through before you find that real one, right? 15. Nothing, what word is that? Counterrail a faithful friend. So nothing is worth a faithful friend, right? And his excellence is invaluable, right? He gonna pull out all the stops. He gonna rise to every occasion. He gonna shock you again and again. He gonna be right there, right? Having done the right thing, right? Prepared, right? When you wasn't, where you slip at, that's where he gonna pull up, right? His excellence is invaluable, right? Whoo-hoo. Man, that's deep. That's a friend right there, right? Everybody can't call themselves a friend. We can all call ourselves brothers and sisters, right? 16, a faithful friend is a medicine of life, right? So he's going to heal you, right? The way medicine heal the body, right? That's the way a friend is going to heal you. And they that fear the Most High shall find him, right? So the Most High is the centerpiece of this, right? And we know this. The Most High and the thought of the Most High, it has brought a lot of us together, right? And on the level that we understand the Most High together, we know not to cross each other, right? Whoso feareth the Most High shall direct his friendship aright. Ain't that what I just said? The Most High being the centerpiece, right? And if we fear the Most High, right, we gonna direct our friendship aright, right? We know what a friend is. We know what it is to be a friend. We know what's not a friend. Those things that make us not a friend, we're not gonna do those things. Why? Because we are friends, right? And that's what the title of this is, be a friend, right? For as he is, so shall his neighbor be also. So we switching that back and forth, right? Be a friend, y'all. That's of the love, right? What did it say yesterday? Be kind one to another, tender-hearted, right? Look for that, right? That's our evidence, y'all. You know, we can't be living in running around blind like we don't see what's before us, like we don't see this proof, right? That's what these scriptures are. It's the proof. We got to look for that proof in the earth. We got to know when we see it. We got to know when we're seeing something less, right? And we got to behave according to what we see, right? Stop looking at evidence and acting like you ain't looking at the evidence, right? And stop skipping one wrongdoing to look at a second wrongdoing, right? To look at what's done, in the counteraction, because the first action changes something, right? I got a lot of people getting on me and like I can control what another man is doing, Well, you did this and you did that and blah blah. Well, I had to, because I gotta address certain situations, right? Oh, you used to be like this and I'm still like that, right? But something else happened, right? And all I'm gonna do is, take the teaching moment. That's it. I'm gonna take the teaching moment. If I have an example to use, then I'm gonna use that example, right? I'm not trying to hurt anyone or do anything like that. It ain't in the vein of those things. It's in the vein of teaching. And if I have, an example that I know has touched you, then I'm gonna point back at that example, or else it's really a waste, right? We could use a teaching example and it account for something good. We can turn a negative into a positive in the Most High. That's what we can do, right? And yeah, all praises to the Most High, y'all. It's prep day, right? Make sure you got it, and we're gonna do this Sabbath, chill for this Sabbath, and then Sunday we ready to go out, right? uh Louisiana, y'all get together, y'all go out, y'all film it if you can, right? uh any film you could get, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, whatever. If you can't get the whole time you're out there, you ain't got to do that. Maybe you just get an hour, however it works. But get us some film, send it to me. I'll upload it here, right? And you can upload it wherever you want, but send it to me and I'm gonna upload it here. And we're gonna get into having some of that too, having some of the street speaking footage for us to tap in and check out and things like that. And it ain't all about just street speaking either. uh get us out there on the block, and just having a good time with the public and things like that. Because, that's what a church is supposed to do. That's what it's supposed to be about, interaction with your community. You know what I'm saying? And just out there and just having conversation and whatever the case, eating, we eat together. Eating is a formal thing. It's a lot of places out there that if you refuse their meal, they will kill you, right? You don't want to eat with us? Oh, you're an enemy, right? That's a big deal, right? To them. So yeah, it's a very formal thing to, engage in a meal together, things like that. So, you know, it's gonna be a lot of things that we upload, just community interaction, man, and just spreading that love, and Put it on your banner, man. Make a love banner. You know what I'm saying? Make a love banner. Put a scripture on it. You know what I'm saying? By this shall all men know, right? Something like that. And put the LOVE huge on that joint, right? Have that be the biggest word, you know, and just, because it's inviting. People gonna look over, oh, love. Let me go over there. You know what I'm saying? Instead of yelling and obscenities and you know what I'm saying? Ah, you're not going over there, them mean Israelite guys, right? Uh Kayam is pulling out First John. Let's go to it. First John 4:12 through 16. I think that's it. All right. First John 4:12 through 16. No man has seen the Most High at any time. If we love one another, the Most High dwelleth in us, right? And his love is perfected in us, right? So we ain't seen him. We ain't laid eyes on the Most High, right? Even in my experience, I didn't lay eyes on the Most High. I could feel him. He was up top, right? And that says that too, where I found it with Enoch's experience, the sapphire blue, it said that the Most High stands on it. And I told y'all, I could feel love up top. I could feel it behind me in the earth, and I could feel it up there too. But I thought it would like just like the heavens, which it is. But it says his feet is directly over that, y'all. Right? So the most none of us has seen the Most High at any time. If we love one another, right? So if we reciprocating that love back and forth, then what? The Most High dwelleth in us, right? Wow. Do you guys understand that? Right? So when we have that love and we feeling it back and forth, that's the Most High in us, right? And I mean, I did so much of that, right? So much of switching that love back and forth that I turned into that, right? So when I shed my flesh, that's what you building yourself a place to live, right? That's what y'all doing. I am when you adapt to this love, right? And you pick it up and you become a merchant of it, right? So who cares about Bible trivia, right? Who cares about that, right? Because you ain't gonna turn into that and have it be a safe place for you when you shed your flesh. It's worthless, right? It's fun, right? It's fun to talk about. It makes sense. It's intriguing. It's all of that. Yeah. But you can't live in it when you shed your flesh, right? That's what this love is about, y'all. Right? When we're reciprocating that back and forth, that's the Most High just glowing in both of us. That's what this scripture is telling us right now, right? If we love one another, God dwelleth in us. He's dwelling in us. He's there, right? And his love is perfected in us. So the more you do it, the better you're going to get at it, the stronger it's going to become, and all of that, right? 13, hereby know we that we dwell in him, right? So that's the evidence that we are dwelling in him. And he is us, right? We are him. He is us, right? That remind me of ye are gods, right? That only applies if there's love involved, right? Power, right? Oh man, wait a minute. That turns this into a whole nother scripture, right? A whole nother scripture, right? The Most High haven't given us the spirit of fear, right? But of what? But of love, right? And of power, right? Let's just go to it. Let's just read that real quick. That's 2 Timothy 1:7, right? For the Most High has not given us a spirit of fear, right? That's the opposite of love, right? Fear or love, right? The Most High has not given us the spirit of fear, but of what? But of power, right? And of what? And of love, right? And of what else? A sound mind. What's the opposite of a sound mind? Mad. What is mad? Angry, right? What is mad and angry? Crazy, right? He's mad, right? That's the opposite of a sound mind. Love is power and a sound mind, right? And it's also what? The opposite of what? The spirit of fear, right? So you're going to have fun doing this. Look around, throughout your day, if you can remember, and try to identify all fear, right? A lot of this pride and all of it, they scared. They scared of something, right? And that's why they can't love, because they're scared, right? I'm not over here doing anything because I'm scared. You know what I'm saying? No, love rules over here, right? Whatever you see me doing over here is ruled by love, okay? I'm trying to help y'all understand. Now, the things that were going on elsewhere that we've been seeing uh very frequent in the past few weeks, it was out of fear, y'all, right? And fear doesn't make a lot of sense, right? Love has to make sense, right? It has a reason why it's doing everything it's doing, a good reason, right? But fear, it's hysterical sometimes, and it doesn't always have to make sense, but it's trying to get out of a harm's way that it sees, right? So it doesn't always have to make sense, right? And that's what fear is, right? So hereby we know that we dwell in him, right? And he is in us because he has given us of his spirit. What is his spirit? Just told us, right? That's what the precept is for. It's power, it's love, and it's a sound mind, right? That's what it looks like when we look at it, because he has given us of his spirit, right? That's chapter 13. Boy. Right? 14. And we have seen and do testify that the Father sent the Son to be the Savior of the world. How is he the Savior of the world? By love. What is he showing us? Love. The way, right? The way is a path. Okay. What is that way? That way is love, right? What is truth? Love, right? What is the life? The life is, love. The life is that place, right? That's where you're going to spend a long time at, right? There is no time there. You see this? Is this clear? Wow. Right? 15. Whosoever shall confess that Yasha is the son of the Most High dwelleth in him, right? And he in the Most High. 16. And we have known and believed the love that the Most High has to us. The Most High is love, right? And he that dwell in love dwelleth in the Most High, and the Most High in him, right? So the love is everything, y'all. So how could we have read this all of this time and just read it, And it means some things to some people and they hang on to it, for some time. and whatnot, and then it slips in and out of the mind eventually. You know what I'm saying? But it's a lot of us that roll right over that. It means nothing. You know, we close the book, and it played no part in our lives after we closed the book, right? But nah, this needs to be more important. This needs to be rule number one. This needs to be directly in the forefront of our beliefs and things like that, right? And it'll stop us from doing so many things. The things that they're out there doing, we won't have no parts in that, right? We won't be guilty in that, right? We will be blameless, right? We fight differently. We don't fight the way they fight, right? They trying to take your head off, right? Us, nah. We do just enough to survive, right? That's all. We clear things up. We ain't gonna let no confusion be out there. We ain't gonna let no lie survive, right? Kill the lie. We kill lies, not people and souls and things. You know what I'm saying? But a lot of people take that away. You speak out your mouth, you know, and you clear up a truth, and somebody takes that, somebody takes that as, you know, an offense, right? Who would do that? A liar. Liars don't like truth. So when you speak truth, you have offended them, right? So that's another thing, y'all. Let's be a people who love truth, right? Even if the truth cut your nose off. Your nose shouldn't have been a liar, right? And I mean, you got to learn rough in the beginning, right? But it won't keep hurting if you learn from your mistakes, right? So something happens bad for you one time, the next time that opportunity come upon you, you're gonna be ready. It happened to you last time, so you're ready now, right? And that's how it is. The more time you spend in this, you know, eventually you get to, you know, the stature where you just like a ninja, right? And nothing can't touch you, right? Why? Because you've been through it in the past and you learn from it, right? And that's what it just turns into. You know, it start looking like karate tricks. You know what I'm saying? Boom, boom, pop, pop, two, pop, choo, chop. You know, like, oh, and people hate that, right? That's one thing about a hater. They hate everything, right? Let's bring in one to mind. Just bringing one to my mind. What is that? Timothy 1 and 15. Unto the pure, all things are pure, right? So when you are pure, you know, all things are pure, right? And that's how that looks. That will get on somebody's nerves, right? That you can find some joy in everything you look at, right? They notice that about you. Whatever they bring up, you got a good word for it, right? That'll get on somebody's nerves. They'll call you fake, right? No, but you see good in everything that you look at, and you would rather talk about the good that you see in that thing, right? You don't want to talk about the bad that's in the thing, right? Why? Because that's going to bring a spirit about the whole conversation, right? So you draw out that good thing, right? And when two lovers come together, you can imagine that, you know, it's a blessed conversation, right? Now, what if one of them are not of the love, right? They're going to interrupt that and they're going to come in with the downside, right? The downside is important. Oh, no, well, look at how this, and look, you know what I mean? And now it's like, ugh. Now you guys are going to talk about, you know, negativity now, right? And that's going to bring a whole spirit about the conversation. But to the pure, all things are pure, right? But unto them that are defiled and unbelieving, right? So they are unbelieving, right? When you drawing out these goods, they like, nah, that, you know what I'm saying? They don't believe that, right? They don't got no time for that. They're gonna draw out all the negatives, right? But unto them that are defiled and unbelieving, it's nothing pure, right? It's not pure, right? But even their mind and their conscience is defiled, right? Their minds is defiled, right? So they want to talk about everything that is negative, right? They don't want to talk about the good, you know. So nah, we don't want to be those types, right? We see the good and we speak of, you know, what is good, right? And it's a better life, you know. It's a better way to spend your time, you know, in this earth. Feel what I'm saying? Righteousness, nothing like it. I love that song, right? I feel like I didn't even make that. I play that song as an outsider, right? I didn't make that song, right? I was used for that song. That song came through me, not from me, right? Praise the higher. Yep, but that's 107, y'all. Let's do some quick announcements real quick. Uh Tap in if you're in these places: Southern California, uh, Northern California, Arizona, Vegas, New Mexico, Colorado, Houston, Dallas, Fort Worth, San Antonio, uh, North Carolina, Georgia, Florida, Virginia, Louisiana, Detroit, Kentucky, uh, Georgia. I said Georgia already, huh? Cincinnati, Ohio, right? South Africa, right? Some of us need to be ready to go out right now. Louisiana, y'all ready to go out? Uh, Sacramento, y'all ready to go out? Film if you can. Sunday. Southern California, we going out. Uh, Arizona, Arizona's ready to go out, right? So all praises to the Most High, right? We're having Jerry on uh, this Tuesday, next Tuesday coming up. Be ready for Jerry, right? And be ready to tap in and see, you know, if you want to do this with this grant or not, right? And that's why a lot of people mad, man, because they did this, you know, they did this, and they want to floss, right? They don't want us doing this, you know. They don't want, you know, how you gonna do what I do? They look at us small, you know. How dare you try to do what I did, right? Uh, let's get the planting out there, y'all. You know, let's do that. You know, look to it. You know, it ain't a lot of work that goes into it. You know, if you're a certain type of person, you know, there's people that everything seems hard to do, you know, but you know, I think we can handle it. You know, look up some YouTube videos on how to grow stuff. You know, you could grow stuff on your windowsill, bell peppers and stuff. You know, different type of peppers, and you know what I mean. Things like this, right on your windowsill. You know, out of a 2 liter bottle and things like that. You know, it's a lot of ways. You know, water jugs and things like this. You know, But let's get some experience in that, if it sounds like something, you want to do and be self-sufficient, and it's an amazing thing, the most high, how you could put seeds in some dirt and water it and have something sprout out of that. That's life that you're looking at, y'all. That's the Holy Spirit, y'all. That's Ruach, right? It's life, right? It's an amazing thing, and that will change the way you live your life, believe it or not. Growing something, putting things in dirt, putting seeds in dirt and growing it, and you know what I'm saying, watching it flourish into a bush, you know what I'm saying, with leaves and stems and fruit, and you know what I'm saying? That stuff takes a toll upon your life, right? It changes the way you live. It changes the way you see things and all of that, you know. So get into growing, y'all. Get into putting something in some dirt, and taking care of it, watering it, and pruning it, and you know what I'm saying, bringing forth fruit. When they say bring forth fruit, how you gonna live a life like that, doing that, and not bring forth fruit in every aspect of, the idea of bringing forth fruit, right? And that's love too, taking care of it. That's love, right? In the description section, we got Plant Vineyards 144 at Gmail. That's the email, right? Hit that for whatever reason, right? Whatever reason, right? The Cash App, we using the fringes right now, $ fringes. If y'all want to send us something, it is uh uh appreciated, right? Greatly appreciated, right? And then we have the clothing store back up. Order use some fringes, you know what I'm saying? Head wraps, right? Meat trees, right? Some dresses for the sisters or whatever. I believe it's even some baby clothes in there too, for the brand new Israelites coming into the earth, right? Onesies with fringes on them and stuff like that. It's a lot of stuff up in there, Y'all uh hit that fringes.net and grab you a piece or two up in there, whatever, however you want to do that, right? Uh what else we got here? Uh how's y'all diet doing? Anybody doing anything special? Any fast, something you got going on? You know, uh there's a lot of fasts out there, y'all, that we could be doing. It's good practice, you know, you don't always gotta just go dry, It's a lot of different fasts you could do. I'm just not gonna eat no bread. That's a fast, you know, and just practice eating without bread, you know. Say I'm gonna just do liquid fast, and that's all you're gonna do is drink, remove something from your diet. All of that is exercise, y'all. Right? Teaching us how to abstain from things, right? Sabbath is doing that too. That's what the Sabbath is doing, right? It's teaching us how to want less, right? And to be easier and treated. That's what that's teaching us, right? But Shalom, y'all. Good. Another one down. Good chopping it up. I'm going I'm gonna have to do something, find some other type of thing where I could maybe have y'all come in live. I could have y'all join us, you know what I'm saying, and speak your piece and whatnot. Let me get some sevens if y'all would like something like that. If you would participate in something like that. All right. Let me see some sevens. Y'all hear me? I don't even know if this thing is working, but how it was acting yesterday, man. Oh, and a tornado jumped off. Right? Uh that's it, just two. All right, y'all. So Shalom, that's all we got. 3 sevens. All right, you could be tight with your seven if you want. Shalom, y'all. I'll holler.